Welcome to Impact Masters Podcast in collaboration with Africa's Talking Retold Podcast, where every conversation sparks new insights. Join us as we delve into the stories of extraordinary individuals who are shaping our world. Movers and shakers in tech, policymakers, entrepreneurs, entertainers, and all those whose stories are worth telling. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and transformed. Welcome, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. Impact Masters Podcast. You can check us out on all social media platforms. You can also find us across all podcast channels. Simply search for Impact Masters, then subscribe, follow, and share. www.impactmasters.io. Here's your host, Michael Kamathi.
Perfect. Welcome to Impact Masters in collaboration with the Africa's Talking Retold Podcast, brought to you by Michael Kamathi. So this is powered by Africa's Talking, and Africa's Talking is powering communication across Africa with simplified access to telco infrastructure, empowering developers to use a powerful SMS, USSD, voice, airtime, and chats, plus insight APIs to bring the solutions to life as we build and sustain scalable businesses. Impact Masters is changing status quo. So today we have an interesting guest. The man himself, Titus, calls himself Titus. Ndeto. Yeah, that's a billionaire entrepreneur, investor, and venture capitalist. He's an open-minded to all ventures, and he considers himself as a privileged billionaire entrepreneur who engages startups, founders, and co-founders who strive to disrupt their respective industries. Ndeto, a founder and student of theoretical physics, econometrics, and philosophy, who draws upon knowledge and principles of reason. He has applied these to finance, business, and manufacturing. He is also delighted to hear about everyone's journey, progress, and success, as well as any experiences that have shaped their perspective. And this is the reason why we're hosting him here today. You know, we bring movers and shakers in tech, entrepreneurship, and any other sector that is moving Africa forward. So welcome today. My name is Michael Kamathi, your host. I'm an entrepreneur. Also, currently, I help build developer communities across Africa. It's a thing that I've been doing for the past decade plus years. And I've met so many interesting people across Africa. I've influenced tech ecosystems across different regions in Africa. And mine is to see people building solutions that change the lives and trajectory of Africa to set it as an economic powerhouse that it is, utilizing the resources, brilliance, capacity, and the energy that Africa fronts in the world. So today, we have this chief in the house, and he's one chief I've been looking for some time now. He has a wealth of knowledge, and his name is Titus Ndeto. So Titus, without further ado, I would like to know about you beside what I've said about you.
Let me start by the thanks. I rarely introduce myself. It seems like a brag. But now, at least now people know why. Mm-hmm. But for me, for my journey, I started venturing into finance way back in 2018. Mm-hmm. Back then, I was still in high school. I was very, very, very passionate about theoretical physics. That's pure math and pure physics. And I never knew there was another type of world called entrepreneurship or finance or venture capital. I never knew any of these things.
Yeah.
Now, a friend of mine was employed and wanted to quit. But didn't know what exactly or where exactly to start, reached out to me because in my social group, I'm the math guy. Apparently, everyone thinks I know what to do.
But Ndeto, where did all this start? Is it in high school? Is it in primary school? Were you born with it? So where did all this Ndeto start?
Actually, if way back in primary school, I never performed well in mathematics or physics. Never. I was like the tail end. I was the tail end. But I got into high school and now the spark came automatically. I actually don't know where it also came.
You just started understanding math.
In depth.
Okay.
I started recognizing patterns. I started visualizing equations.
Okay.
And got very, very, very interested now in physics.
So which primary school did you go to?
It's called Mary Immaculate. It's a private school.
Where is it?
Bahati.
In Eastlands.
Eastlands.
Nairobi Eastlands.
Eastland.
Okay. And high school?
High school, I partially went to a public school. It's called Kaishanjiru. And then
where is Kaishanjiru?
Kaishanjiru is, I don't know, like literally it's in Kaishanjiru. Muranga.
Oh, Muranga.
Muranga, and then now Gaishanjiru. Now
Okay.
a place called Gaishanjiru.
Okay.
Now the name of the school is from the location.
Okay. That makes sense. And any vivid memory about primary school? Did you struggle with all subjects or just math?
No, I struggled with math. I was very, very, very interested in geography. That's social studies.
Social studies.
Yeah, I was because that's my best performing subject back in primary school. I struggled with languages, mathematics, and science very, very, very badly.
So social studies, you mean
politics, geography, rocks.
Okay,
people.
that was your favorite thing.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Now structures. Let's say things with structures. When you are studying geography, you have rocks to study.
Yeah.
Metamorphosis.
Something you can see.
Exactly. I was a very, very visual learner, but I never realized until later on in my
high school.
Exactly.
Okay. So high school, at what point is it? Form 1, term 3, when you now realize, oh, math is good, I can do math?
Actually, it was in Form 2.
Form 2.
Form 2, term 2. I got, we were doing SADs.
Yeah.
I think it's SADs.
Yeah.
I actually understood SADs from an example.
Okay.
And then, to me, that was like a very, very big deal. Because I don't understand much, like literally. And I just looked at the example, followed its structure, and everything got into my head.
And what is SADS, if you break it down to someone who is not familiar with it?
SADS is mathematics of power indices. Now, let's say 2 to power 3 times 2 to power x plus 1 is equals to 4.
Okay.
Now solve for x.
Oh. So you're the guy who really understood the find x.
Exactly.
Algebra was your thing.
Now, actually, an interesting part was algebra was a very, very, very big part in my life.
Yeah.
That's when I realized algebra is the language of mathematics. When you're doing advanced level mathematics, you don't use numbers. You use variables.
Yes.
That's algebra. Now, when the switch came to me, my point of realization was I was picking maths. Like, I can read maths without any calculations. I'll do it in my head. Like, literally, I was reading an entire sentence from symbols. And remember, this is it for public high school. They were not doing like that entire type of math.
Yeah.
I got onto YouTube, Veritasium. That was the channel.
This post high school or still in high school?
Still in high school. Still in high school. I got into Veritasium, 3 blue, 1 brown. I got interested in quantum electrodynamics. Also, I got interested in relativistic equations. And the interesting part was I understood all this, like still in Form 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and it's 844. Now you can, like, there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
844, you're just doing numbers.
Yeah.
You study, revise, pass exams, go home, have fun, come back, study, repeat.
Yeah.
There was nothing that interesting.
Okay.
But 3 blue, 1 brown. Yeah, it gave me a lot.
What is that?
It's a YouTube channel.
Okay.
I was mentioning all those were YouTube channels.
I thought it's a math problem or something.
For math problem, the math problem that was a dilemma back then, and it still is, it's called Collard's conjecture. Let me not explain it because I will use at least 3-4 hours.
Is that crazy? Yeah.
It's a millennial equation. Millennial equations, equations that has not been solved.
Okay.
For the past millennia.
Okay.
Century equations for the past century. Decade equation. Evo.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's an old. It's almost something. It's completely not almost. It's relatively very, very, very complex, not difficult. Math is rarely difficult. Math is complex. Now, for the Collard's conjecture, I can almost make it compared to, it's called Fermat's last theorem.
Guys, get your notebooks and pen because it's gonna get crazy around here. Here, different terminologies being thrown around. We need to refer to this in the coming few sessions.
Like even a lot of, I switched my life like a leaf. All my friends were astonished. They never expected I'd turn out how I've turned out.
So first term, Form 1, you get an A in math.
So there's C or a C plus. Yeah. Second term, same C plus. Third term, I got a B. First term, Form 2, I got an E. E or a D.
In math?
Yeah, in math.
And at this particular point, you are familiar with quantum physics, you're familiar with all the millennium?
Nah, not yet.
Not yet?
Now, term 2.
Term 2 in Form 2?
Yeah, term 2, Form 2, I got... now, Form 2, term 3, I got an A. Literally straight A.
Please, paint a picture, like, what is that? Did you, sit down and or did you go through a book and you're like, wow, this makes sense all of a sudden?
There was Professor Michio Kaku. He's a doctor, not a professor. Now, he was doing this book which got me really, really curious on science. It was Physics for the Impossible. Is it that book? I don't remember. But basically, he listed classical mechanics. That is where physicists have reached. Newton did this. Paul Dirac did this. Werner Heisenberg did this. Einstein then did this. And then Feynman, there's also a prominent physicist he's called Feynman. Feynman did this, and then now we are here.
So is he doing this in class? Is it a YouTube video? Is it a book?
That is a book.
It's a book. You are reading it and you see the chronological account of different mathematicians.
Exactly. Now where we have reached mathematically.
Okay.
To the academic front.
Okay.
It's like a history book for equations. Because he's those type, he's a big guy in academia. Because he was listing out an equation with symbols.
Okay.
Because math and physics, we use Greek symbols
Okay.
a lot.
Yes.
Now, I didn't know the symbols.
So that was a bit confusing for you for a long time.
Very, very long time. Now I just decided now to sit down and now read the entire Greek.
And understand
Exactly.
why are they used and what they mean.
Exactly.
So did you, now reading Greek, were you reading it from the symbol perspective or just to understand how to speak and write Greek?
Nah, symbol.
Okay.
Reading Greek was never interesting because also later on they started using Latin. Now, if you wanted to learn how to speak Greek, you'll also learn how to use Latin.
Yeah.
You're getting.
Yeah.
Now, I just all mathematical Greek symbols. I had a sit down with myself, and then I looked them up a lot on YouTube. Is a university, by the way. Hey, no cap. I've done a lot of things on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sana on my research when I was getting interested in advanced level mathematics.
Yeah.
I did a lot of things on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then now Google Scholar came along.
Okay.
Now I was going to YouTube. First I get the paper on Google Scholar. Google Scholar is literally like a database for scientists where the
papers are published there.
Exactly.
Some books are published there.
Or are discovery.
Yeah.
And then now, once I get the paper, I don't understand anything. I stop.
You go and research.
Exactly the entire thing.
Yeah.
And then now I come back.
Okay.
Because I was not using a curriculum.
Okay.
Like literally.
You're just curious.
Curiosity. Like literally nothing else. I was just curious. Let's say I'd go read the first paragraph. Only the abstract. The abstract will take me like 2-3 days to complete.
Yeah.
Because grammar, shida. Choice of words, alignment of words, shida. Like need.
So grammar was a problem to you or the mathematicians?
The grammar they use, like let's say an example, don't do that.
Okay.
A mathematician will tell you need not do that.
So which one is which?
As in, need not ni version imeomoka of the don't do that. You do, like inamaanisha hivyo.
All right.
Ama like legal jargon. A lawyer can tell you 2 words with a paragraph. You're getting?
Yeah. Lawyers in the house.
As I no hits by the I'm just it's an analogy.
No, you made your point.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm just trying to emphasize on the point.
Yes, right. Same. Now, also mathematicians use a lot of jargon when it comes to doing proofs.
Okay.
But
do you think that also is highly contributed with the background of that particular mathematician, as opposed to using because you see, if maybe you learned Greek, like there's a background of Greek and Latin. Even English is made from combination of so many languages.
Yeah.
Does it influence how even you like you see right now, if you are explaining something, you'll add a bit of Swahili here, some Sheng. It's just not because you want to be complicated.
Yeah.
It's because you want to make a point. And for you, it's just obvious. Like if I say this, people will understand more.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. To some level, your background affects your speech.
Yeah.
Always to some level.
Yeah.
Because also there was a time I was very, very interested in neurobiology.
Okay.
Now studying circuitry for the brain.
Okay. Why were you studying circuitry for the brain? And at what point? Still in Form 2?
Nah, that was in Form 3. Like completely, I'd switched off.
So you just curious, learning anything and everything that is interesting?
I was not even doing my assignment. Like literally, I'd go to school with a book the size of a dictionary.
Archimedes' principle.
Archimedes is something similar.
Encyclopedia.
Archimedes' principle. It's not that difficult. Let's say something like rocket science. Because for rocket science, the main reason why it's that big, it's because there's a lot of factors affecting rocket science. When you're doing speeds above Mach 3, Mach 4, hey, that's
You're defying nature in some way.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything that defies nature has a lot of mathematics going around.
Yeah.
Now back to your question. For mathematicians, it's actually because I am one. What I think is not the background, because I am fluent in Shakespeare English. It's because of what you're trying to explain.
Okay.
Maybe like let me liken it to a dev.
Okay.
Talking to an agriculture enthusiast. Two completely
different worlds, yeah.
But they both come together because of tech. You do.
Yeah.
Now try explaining HTML, the difference between HTML and CSS to the farmer. And then you're like, I cannot use my language because if I use my language, there is nothing you'll get.
Yeah.
Now same to mathematicians. There's a level of speech mathematicians use between mathematicians and mathematicians.
Yeah.
Mathematicians and physicists. And then mathematicians and engineers.
Yeah.
And then mathematicians and non-academic people. Like also like biology. Neurobiologists use completely different terminology than mathematicians.
Okay.
Also structure of thought is completely different. When you look at it in a thought perspective, how they align their words, it's completely different.
Absolutely. So at this point, I thought the teacher is supposed to break this down for you. They didn't do a good job on that, or? Why?
Because I was young. So that's a faction of my youth. I usually I started because maybe I've not done an assignment. And then now the teacher says, why have you not done an assignment? Because I know. So it's useless for me to do an assignment.
Oh, you used to be that kid?
I was that kid.
So you don't do an assignment because you know the assignment?
For what? Why do I need to do an assignment? Your curriculum tells you to test me. I am telling you, I am already better than your curriculum. You are testing me for what? If I study,
how did that end up? It's very interesting to do.
That one. A few punishments. Some few suspensions because it was repeated. Mothers were present. Parents had to be involved because I was not listening to teachers. And on the grounds of I understand mathematics better than them. I also bruised their ego because back then I was 16 or 17. Now and then you're like a full-grown man with a family. And then there's a kid here tells you with your 40 years of mathematics experience, can teach you mathematics.
But did you do it actually, or it's just a matter of exchange of words?
Exchange. Because if I did it physically, wow, it would have been chaotic.
No, I mean, I had a friend of mine that I keep referring to. He used to solve math in his head. So he has done math, I don't know, a couple of times, or he could really picture the math. Then if you made a mistake in the flow,
he'll single out that one
so
point.
For him, he could not say, I know that. He was my seatmate. He always pointed out like, there's something wrong there. Maybe check it.
Check on that.
You change that, everything flows. And actually, most of the teachers consulted him with love.
Now,
did you consider that as an option?
I was young.
He was young too.
I was not exposed to that type of communication channel.
Yeah.
Because Mimi, back then, now like there's a sense of pride when you're doing academia. Anything complex, there's a sense of pride that comes along.
Yeah.
Now I was young. The pride took.
So you didn't know how to express the knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, a big problem was I was blunt. I didn't know how to break bad news to people. Anything negative.
Yeah. So let me now ask you, do you think maybe how people learn in school should change?
A lot.
And how would it be better? Should people do homeschooling? Should people
not even homeschooling? Like the biggest problem even with 844 curriculum is an interested teacher teaching an interested child. Now, like even now, let's say in uni, can you like even in your social group ask like do a random survey? How many people actually passed exams because they learned? They passed because of Kenya? They did something illegal? That's why there's a high unprofessionalism rate in Kenya.
So people do not really pass exam because they are learned.
Aye.
There are other factors.
A lot. But now no one is ready for that.
The percentage that passes because they learned, where would you put it?
At maybe let's say 2%.
2%.
Maybe 1.5.
1.5%. Not even 2%.
2% is a lot. Because the people who a lot of people my age back then when we were joining campus, even you had ambitions, you wanted to learn this and that. You get to campus, you've been told to do something that's not completely related. And then now the lecture, you ask, campus, most people think they can question. Like, why do we do this? Maybe if it's coding.
Yeah.
Why do you use HTML? How did you debug that?
Yeah.
The teacher tells you, now the lecturer, you finish your exams and leave.
I'm not paid enough to explain this.
I didn't say that. Because the topic you're talking about.
What is the excuse? Because some of the guys who taught me are from Yale, others are from Stanford. Others, went to, big Ivy League schools, and the approach was different a bit.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. The problem with Kenya is corruption is very, very, very petty. For you to pass a driving test,
you have to charge some money.
You have to. It is mandatory.
But I guess that has changed for us now for a while. I don't know.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
It has improved. One thing also, and I need to say the way it is, that corruption is everywhere. It's not just everywhere. Africa or Kenya.
Yeah.
But in Africa, it's put in a way that it doesn't really even work. Because also I feel like tipping is a form of, depending on if you tip before or after, is a form of streamlining things for you. Because if you've gone to US, actually, tipping is a culture. If you don't tip, you're considered rude. So here in Kenya,
it's a budget.
Buying someone chai, which is considered corruption,
if
it's put well, it could be tipping. Like, maybe this guy doesn't earn enough. But now the problem is, let me give you the problem where I see it. If you don't bribe someone, they might put you in a very difficult situation to an extent that it might cost even a life.
Let's use the term forced tipping.